Hello everyone, welcome to week 5 of Club Clash Madden. I am Star Coin Hero. I am joined by Trademark. Trademark, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm excited for, a big week here for week 5 of the Club Clash. Obviously, a lot of names showing up today. Obviously, some of those heavy hitters, the contenders that we've seen a few weeks past, but I'm ready to see what they're going to bring to the table today with a little more on the line.
You're right about that. There's a little bit more on the line, so that means you're going to want to overperform. You are going to want to bring everything to the table and make sure that you can come home with a little bit of extra money today, as this week is qualifier week. And you see right there, the prizing $500 per week. It is doubled for this week. Qualifier week means we get $1,000 in prizing.
Yeah, just adding up to that $35,000 pool. But this week is the big week, as you said. This one and week 9 are the two that are the most important. That, as you put it, you want to overperform because of the sense that you win out here today, you get yourself automatically qualified into those finals that are in April. So this is a very important time to really show up and show out. Make the statement that you're one of those championship caliber teams, and a few of those have already started to make those statements, as we've seen trends showing up in the first 4 weeks. Obviously with Run the Ball, who has been #1 heavy hitter week in and week out.
Oh, I Run the Ball has just been showing up and making his presence known as a dominant force in the Club Clash scene. I mean, how many weeks has this guy won?
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
Yep.
That is unreal. And we might just see 5 for 5 today, because I do not see anybody stopping him. He's going up against Ojed later on today, but to start us off, we have Deuce G versus V Russ.
And that'll be an interesting matchup over there on that other side, because we've seen MMG play in weeks past, ended up actually in second place in week number 2. Ended up losing to Run the Ball as well in week number 1 in that opening round. So just an unfortunate matchup there. But MMG, familiar at least to the structure and to the playing field, that level of competition in this. So knowing what you have to do to get to this point, to be in the semifinals already, I think MMG is poised and would have been ready for this. But the fact that they lost out now, and you have Russ and Deuce here in this one, that obviously tells you that there is a really good caliber on the other side of the bracket. So it might not be I Run the Ball's day. It might be coming out of this matchup that we're getting ready to see.
It might just be. And while we have your guys' attention, let's talk about Club Clash a little bit. Club Clash is a new way to compete for your favorite sports team by representing them in esports tournaments. There are a ton of sports teams that you can represent and earn rep points for. Each week there are tournaments that any players can enter, either as an individual or as a team. And after the tournament, you get rep points, and those will be added to your profile. Depends on the number of participants in the tournament. The more people, the more points to earn, obviously. And you can also win some really great prizes. Some teams are offering some signed jerseys, some tickets. I know there's even a team that's offering a PC setup if you win.
How cool is that, just to be able to play some Madden to represent one of your favorite clubs and getting free swag like that? I mean, getting those jerseys to tickets and a whole new setup. I mean, I absolutely would love a new setup, or at least a dual PC setup, if I'm going to be a little greedy about it. But just a really cool way to present that here for these players coming into this. And as you mentioned, accumulating those points, that is where we're going to get the other 14 qualifiers to come out of into the championships in April. We're going to get 9 qualifiers post mark today. We're going to get 9 qualifiers post week 9. Those other 14 are the ones that are going to show up every single week, put in the grind and put in the work to get themselves in the position for April's championships.
You're right about that. And also don't forget that there is a guaranteed final spot on the line this week. You cannot forget about that. So if you win this, you are automatically in the finals, and that just ups the ante even more. But now, We are going into play. First play will be a pass play, but Aaron Rodgers just gets swarmed. He will have to roll out to the right and just throw it away. That will force a 2nd and 10. It is Green Bay versus Kansas City. Two really good teams, two of the best quarterbacks in the league. And how do you think these two players are going to stack up to each other?
I think it's going to be really important on whose offense takes advantage of the defense on the other side. I'm going to give the edge of defense to the Kansas City side, but it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to contain this explosive offense of the Packers.
Oh, look at that run. He's going to swerve a man, and he will take it all the way for the touchdown. What a run.
That's what I'm saying. The explosive offense, I mean, both sides of the ball have this for both of these teams, but starting it out like that for Green Bay, a long run, establishing that is huge. We've seen teams that are able to implement the run at least a little bit, are able to then get the defenses, the AI to bite forward and then open up those long balls when that time comes for the next possession.
You're right about that. That's a great way to start off this game. And also, as you might have noticed up on that clock, there's only 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. And now look at this.
Okay.
Williams going to get around everybody, and he's going to break some ankles, and that will hit him to the 45-yard line. That is a great kick return.
And that's a great way to start your ensuing possession after giving up a huge play on the defense, to be able to have all of a sudden phenomenal field position starting at your own 45-yard line. That is a very short field for you to cover.
That it is. You only got to go 55 yards, and you are in the end zone. But now, after that explosive run play, get him all the way down to the field, how will this Chiefs team recover? Going to start off in gun, will not be... Oh, it's a run to Jerick McKinnon. Going to get up and will not quite get the first down. No, 2nd and inches.
I think this is going to be just for the first quarter, especially as you mentioned with shorter quarters in this format, just kind of getting a feel for the opponent and getting an idea of how they want to play on this. Obviously, we know that both of these teams just want to put up a lot of points, and it is going to be a slugfest on the offensive side. They are very capable of doing so, but it's just a matter of how fast are they going to answer back and forth.
You're right, 4-minute quarters. So if you have a long, grueling, time-consuming drive, you could very realistically use up a whole quarter. As here we have play action, and Mahomes going to lob one deep, and that will be batted down, but that could have been a lot worse. 3rd and inches.
Certainly a dangerous one there. I mean, you see the cover 3 to drop all the way back. Pretty solid coverage deep, and you know, as the internet will say, Patrick Mahomes will just look downfield and heave it up, saying Tyreek's down there somewhere and hope to make a play.
That was one of the times that a play was not made. That will make this 3rd and inches here. On the 46-yard line, he is in opposing territory. Dropping back, and he will get hit as he throws. And that will force 4th and very short. And you got to go for this, right? You got to go for this.
I mean, there's no way after what you've done to give up a long run and an early touchdown in opponent's territory. I mean, you're in 4-down territory. It's just very early on in this game. I don't know if you want to commit to it, but I would not be surprised at all. A couple inches with anyone in the backfield. I mean, you have 3 running backs that could get that. If not, Patrick Mahomes could do just the same with the little bootleg out to the side and pick up that yardage.
You cannot forget about the bootleg, and don't forget about QB sneak as well. You can just take that right up the middle. You got to get maybe 12 inches here. You can get it with a QB sneak. He's going to hand it off to the fullback. He's going to get stopped immediately. Jerick McKinnon gets shut down behind the line, and now we're going the other way.
And that is the problem with that play design, is the give to the fullback is actually Jerick McKinnon, who's not a sizable guy. I feel like Clyde Edwards-Helaire's the bigger of the two that is going to want to punch it up the gut there, but instead give it to the smaller one on a stacked box. Probably not the best playmaking decision.
Probably not. You could have maybe tried a stretch or a dive with a bigger body, like you said, as Edwards-Helaire, or a QB sneak. I don't think Jerick McKinnon was the right call there. That is a great throw, but Lazard just bounces right off his hands.
Yeah, on the comeback as well. I just don't think that at that point Lazard ready for it. Just didn't have the hands up, but would have been a huge gain.
That it would have. Now, we're going to go with the same play that scored him the touchdown on the first drive. This time only gets around 5 or 6. 3rd and short, going in no huddle. Same position. I'm expecting a slant right here. With a slant or maybe try something deep. Oh, up on the wheel. It's Jones. Spins and gets past him down to the 31.
That was a great read. Setting up the out route on the side and then just sending Jones out of the backfield. Got the linebacker to bite into the flat. And that's an easy pitch and catch.
Doesn't get much simple. Doesn't get much simpler than that. Rodgers forced to roll out right, but he finds him. Look at that beautiful throw.
Okay.
That will make this 13-0, awaiting the extra point.
Such a hard throw, too, going across the body and on a relatively well-defended player. MVS still able to come down with it, fall across the line. Defense just didn't step at all. That's 2 great possessions now for Deuce here on the Green Bay Packers.
You're right about that. Will V-Ross be able to come back from this? Of course you can, but it's going to be hard. You can shut down on both of your drives. You're going to have to get something going right now. You're going to have to find something to get the momentum in your favor, because right now you are just getting shut out.
Kansas City's a great offensive team, though. I mean, you can't at any point count them out of this just because of the options and weapons that they have. But it's a matter of getting that offense actually set up and being able to read through that defense, because for the time being, we haven't seen a whole lot. I mean, they had phenomenal field position to start that last drive and only got the 9 yards and some change before the turnover.
Yeah, tried to run it and just got stopped. This time they're going to have to find something. Because if they don't get on the board here, at least with maybe a field goal, they're going to be in pretty deep trouble here. Mahomes going to find Byron Pringle, and that should move the chains. Going in no huddle there. And that looks like he wants to blitz. He wants to get on the quarterback as fast as possible.
Watching those linebackers play and see how aggressive they are going to be. And they are coming. Oh.
And they get on him. He was able to get the ball off, so no sack, but that will force an incompletion, make it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, bringing that pressure off the edge. I mean, Kansas City's offensive line is pretty solid. They've made some upgrades over the offseason between last year and this year, so a little bit better, at least on the tackles front, but being able to stop that outright, you just got to hope that Travis Kelce or McKinnon's going to be able to get a chip block before they go out on their routes.
2nd and 10. The 3 wide receivers are bunched up. Mahomes just going to stick in the pocket, and he's beat him. Tyreek Hill over the top. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Immediate recognition on the other side as well. Player control of that linebacker. Unfortunately, you're 35 yards behind one of the fastest wide receivers in the NFL. There is no chance you're going to be able to get there to help out that safety. That's an easy one.
That is an easy one. It's a symbol of looking down the field and seeing that Tyreek Hill has a bit of separation and just pressing that button, because you know you're not going to overthrow Tyreek Hill.
Well, Tyreek's one of those players that's going to get to it. Doesn't have the size, but has the speed. Isn't one of those Megatron-like players that put it in a 6-yard radius. Just pick a spot on the field. Tyreek's going to get there for sure.
It's as simple as that, and that's why the Chiefs are so dominant. Can't forget about the other 9 passing weapons. They got Travis Kelce. They've got, who they got? They got Williams. They've got Pringle. Pringle, very underrated. He can go up and make some plays as well. And also the run game. They've got Derek Gore. They've got Jerick McKinnon. There's just so many weapons on the Chiefs side.
On the other side of the ball, they have just as many. I mean, you got Lazard, Devontae Adams, Darren Jones, and MVP, Aaron Rodgers under the helm. This offense could do just as much.
Absolutely. Aaron Rodgers, MVP. The second player in history to have 4 MVP awards, I believe. If my statistics are correct.
Top of my head, that sounds right. I'm trying to think of. He's just done it so well for so long. It's hard to compare him to anyone else in the game right now. I mean, Tom Brady obviously not in the game, but Aaron Rodgers next best up.
Yeah, of course there was Tom Brady to compare, but Tom Brady has retired, so now I gotta go with it's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers who is the GOAT of the NFL at the moment.
Ooh.
He's just done so much. Well, not GOAT, but greatest of current time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Jones
Jones
finds the blocks and finds the open field, and that is touchdown Green Bay.
Yeah, got the off tackle right there, able to spread that defense out. You saw them all bunched up there in the box, and that's exactly what I was kind of expecting off that 4th down attempt from Kansas City a couple of possessions ago, just to try to spread that defense a little bit thinner. Instead, Green Bay takes advantage, and Aaron Jones, we know, is completely capable of finding a huge open hole and taking it for 6.
And that's exactly what he did. And now the kickoff just going to roll into the end zone. And we will have a touchback. Now, Chiefs were able to get the touchdown, but still, Virus has a long way to go. We got 3 minutes in this first quarter. But if my memory serves me correctly, he gets the ball at second half. So he can go down and score, get the ball back, score again, and this is a tie ball game. So he's not out of the woods, but the light is definitely visible. That's a fumble. Patrick Mahomes drops it. It's picked up by Greg. That is a scoop and score. The big man with the touchdown. Or no, that's Gary. Gary with the scoop and score touchdown.
They've done such a good job of getting in the backfield just to not give Mahomes the time to read the field. I mean, there's just no chance at all to try to find these receivers. Instead, gets hit on the blind side, loses the ball, trying to get rid of it in time, but you just got to be able to recognize that pressure early and throw that ball away before you even have the defense at your back.
What an unfortunate turn of events. Virus, there was a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel, but the light just got a lot smaller after that very unfortunate fumble and then the scoop and score. And now this is a 3-possession game.
And that's, I was getting ready to say, you know, in the light of, as you're talking about the comeback potential, I mean, as fast as these teams have been scoring, there's a lot of time left here in this second quarter, but 11 seconds off the clock, a scoop and score, and like you said, it hurts so much. Oh. Where's the offensive line at?
It is looking like Super Bowl 55 out here with just how little offensive line Patrick Mahomes has. 2nd and 14, 2 minutes 50 on this clock. He's going to have to do something here if he wants to get back in this game. There's still a lot of football to play, but there's a lot of scoring to do, and that is another sack.
Something's got to give here. I mean, the recognition's got to be made on the other side of the pressure's still coming. The linebackers or the defensive back is coming off the edge. There are more people running at you than your blockers are able to pick up at this point. So whether there has to be an assignment shift or a blocking shift, something to get into the actual schematics of the game and telling your line to adjust one side or the other. If not, just bring it tight end and, you know, have Kelsey not run routes, which you would hate to see, but add that extra blocker on the edge.
Now it is 3rd down and a little bit less than forever. 3rd and 24 as we are almost at the 2-minute warning. 2:07 on this clock. We're going to need a miracle, but Mahomes, if you need a miracle, Mahomes is most likely your guy. Let's see if he can make something happen.
Show it again.
Play action.
They bring it.
And he's going to wait. And he finds him deep. Tyreek Hill That will be another touchdown. And what did I just say?
I mean, why go for 25 yards when you can just go for the length of the field? Who needs a first down? Just get the touchdown.
No need for touchdown, or no need for first downs. We score touchdowns. And now 1:57 on this clock for Deuce G to try to take back that free possession lead. But that will definitely help V-Russ out here.
Yeah, being able again, and we've seen it twice now already, the one-on-one coverage with Tyreek, it's not a good idea. Teams still keep doing it for some reason. It's, I mean, just the same as leaving Lamar Chase one-on-one. It's a terrible idea. Defenses think that it's going to be okay. And we've seen twice now Tyreek has punished that defense.
And I got a feeling that that might just keep happening the longer this game goes on. Now, handoff to Jones. He's going to break a tackle and then get brought down for a gain of 7. Make this 2nd and 3 as the clock is ticking.
Safety's awfully deep.
That he is. That could cause some opening around the middle of the field. Thornhill on the user, and St. Brown does get the first down. I thought he didn't get there. But that will move the chains. 40 seconds on the clock. And Deuce G is just using up all of the clock and going to try to maybe get himself either into field goal range or to find the touchdown. That is and wide open Davante Adams, but he gets there to break up the pass.
Somehow just doesn't hold on to that one, and that was almost another one dead to rights. That's points on the board for sure if you make that catch.
Absolutely. That was around the 30-yard line. That is well in the field goal range for Mason Crosby. Aaron Rodgers rolling out, will be forced to throw it away. And 3rd down and 10 with 26 seconds left. Deuce G is in a little bit of trouble. He's still up by 14, but you definitely want to get points before this half and make it 3 possessions.
Agreed.
Finds Adams this time. Snead cannot break it up, and now we're in field goal range.
Those corners are such an advantageous route to run against zone. So far, we've seen the zone defense every single play of this drive, and being able to hit those in the corner like that, it's going to be open almost every single time as long as the receiver holds on. Watch Adams here do it again.
You're predicting he's going to do it again? We'll see.
Here goes the other side.
Looks like he was doing it again, but he just found Lazard open on the out route. 12-yard line, 1st and 10 with 1 timeout left. Do you think he takes a shot for the end zone here?
I think at this point with the single timeout, I mean, you have time to run one play, and if you stay inbounds, you got the timeout, but there's no reason not to go for the end zone.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm expecting Rodgers to take a
him.
shot to the end zone. That is wide open, Davante Adams. But he kicked. Oh, he didn't get his feet down. Wow, that was huge.
Do it again.
Do it again.
It'll
you
work.
Heard the man. Do it again.
It will work.
Do it again. It'll work. Trust.
Trust the process at this point.
Trust.
Now
trust the
defensive
process.
audible. Hey, this might make things a little bit different now.
Maybe. Gonna motion St. Brown out to the right. And this time, he's gonna have Davante Adams
Out
on
of
a
bounds.
crosser. Gonna run it with Aaron Rodgers for a gain of 5. 4 seconds, and you got to take your field goal here. There's not enough time to run one more.
Yeah, smart to take the chip shot. Good defensive adjustment there at that point to recognize what was happening and try to at least contain the receivers a little bit. I mean, they've been eating that zone defense alive this entire drive. So a good adjustment on the D, be able to stop the touchdown, limit them to at least 3, try to find something coming back in the second half.
We will most likely go into halftime with a scoreline 31-14, unless a miracle kick return can happen here. There's 1 second on the clock, so it is possible. He's gonna fair catch it. Okay. Does he kneel here?
choice.
Does he kneel here or does he try to Hail Mary?
I mean, obviously, on the other side, you're just going to go for a full prevent. You're not going to let anything get behind. But from the other perspective is you want to try to find a way to get Tyreek open in deep downfield because you know he can outrun him. But with the prevent zone, it's probably not going to happen. But I respect the ambition.
Yeah, you have to. Mahomes does have bazooka lit up. So we will see what happens.
Send it.
Gonna roll out to the left and just gonna wait for something to happen. Tyreek down there somewhere, but so is Jair Alexander. And there's a possibility for a return here. Gonna spin, and he will get taken down. And that will be the end of the half. We will go into halftime. Green Bay up by... My brain stopped.
17.
31-14 is the scoreline. 17.
Pretty good game. I mean, outside of the initial, that first possession, you know, with the 50-plus yard run from Aaron Jones, being able to put that on the board immediately, I think was what really set the tone going into this one. And the fact that after that, you get the turnover on downs after a phenomenal starting field position. Kansas City's right there. I mean, they've got everything they need. They have the weapons they want. They just got to be able to finish and execute on these offensive drives and slow down Green Bay, which is so much easier said than done.
You can say that for a lot of things. It's easier said than done. Stopping Green Bay is definitely one of them. Stopping either of these teams is easier said than done. But so far, Deuce has been able to do just that. And he has been able to stop Kansas City on most of their drives. But now it is second half. Maybe we'll see some adjustments from V-Russ and see what he brings out. Maybe some plays that we're not that used to seeing. Right now, he's going to roll out with Mahomes, and that's going to be another scoop and score. Jared McKinnon cannot get him, and that will be another scoop and score fumble from Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, boy. That's worst case scenario. I mean, Mahomes has open field in front of him. Just go across the line of scrimmage and get 2-3 yards out of that, protect the ball. On the other side, slide down, protect your quarterback as well. But instead, tries to go lateral and maybe make the linebacker miss or try to stay behind the line to get the throw off still. Either way, costing the possession and giving up more points, that's just as bad as it could possibly get to open up the second half.
Yeah, and you had open field in front of you. You could have gotten, like you said, at least 3 to 5 yards. But no, he decided to try to go out to the left, and then he dropped the ball.
I still got to give a lot of credit to the other side, though, bringing this pressure. I mean, you watch off the right end, almost every single time, there's a little bit of a stunt from the defensive back and that right end that every single time gets past this offense and gets into the backfield to disrupt the flow. And they've done it almost every play, and it's very clearly showing the impact it's having.
And speaking of the devil,
yeah,
another sack.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I believe that is sack number 4 for this Deuce G defense.
They're not done yet. I promise you that. They're going to keep coming.
All right. Over under for sacks at 7.
Over.
You're going over on 7.
I'll take the over. I'll take the over.
You'll take the over. You know what? I'll take the over too. And now that will be a delay of game. This just keeps getting worse and worse. 2nd and 25 for V-Russ. Down by 24. You have to make a comeback, and you have to make it now. You don't have much time. You have to remember there are 4-minute quarters. You have to make your comeback as soon as possible. He's on the 10-yard line. Not much room to work with. A sack right here would be absolutely huge, and that might just cause a safety.
Just need positive yardage.
He's just going to lob one deep, and that will be knocked away.
Pringle's not the man that you want down there. That's not the guy, especially with 3 white jerseys around him. It's just such a difficult pass to make into triple coverage. Plus, like I said, Pringle's, he's just not that playmaker that's going to be able to come down with that ball. Small chunks of yard at a time should be the objective in that 2nd and 25 situation instead of going for it all.
That might have been the play right there. Maybe just try to find a slant, maybe get 7, 8 yards, make it a little bit more manageable. But now you're stuck with 3rd and 25. But let's not forget, last time there was a 3rd and 25. There's the safety. And it just gets worse and worse.
Tommy Toes makes his debut.
Tommy Townsend. We have yet to see a punt until now, if you can even call it a. But now, oh, he's gonna spin off the hit from Nick Bolton.
That's I mean, that's a big play
and
right
there.
there.
It is.
Yeah, that
there
was
it is.
expected to be right around the corner. I mean, with that, so we didn't hit the over on the sacks, I guess, just because of the concession. But that defense just really sticking it to the man right there, and that's how you shut down a very dangerous offense. Just do not let that quarterback get in rhythm at all. 5+ sacks on the day. There would have been more coming. Couldn't let it happen.
Yep, that will do it for game number 1. And Virus will move on. 40-14. That was hard to watch if you are Deuce G. And it was probably even harder to play.
Yeah, I just
wow.
It hurts to watch, and you know, not making those adjustments to be able to stop that pressure coming. I mean, they only brought 4, maybe 5 rushers every single play, but somehow there's just enough disruption in the offensive line that they couldn't stop the constant pressure to get there. They could not set up that, and just didn't really see any run game trying to be set up by Deuce at all. So at that point, resorting to the passing game, resorting to try to go long the whole time, just couldn't get any chunks of yardage, and I think that's just slowly but surely leading up to your own downfall. Not going to win you championships for sure, and that's why they take the early exodus.
Yep. Just very unfortunate from Deuce, and a really good game by V-Russ. But now we will go into break. When we return, we will have I Run the Ball, the 4-time Club Clash champion, looking to make it 5 weeks straight, versus Jed, looking to topple the king and take the crown. We will be right back. Stay tuned. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to week 5 of Club Clash Madden. Now, we just witnessed V-Rush versus Deuce G. And V-Rush, let's just say it was a decisive victory.
Yeah, and it started right here. I mean, first play of the game, a 60, 72-yard run with Aaron Jones just really set the tone for it at that point. Understanding that Russ was going to be able to handle the offense very well. This opening drive, to answer back, Deuce had such great potential starting this drive at the 45. Unfortunately, turned it over on downs on this 4th down, but just got so close to be able to answer back. We could have gone blow for blow. Instead, V-Rush just started to run away with it.
Absolutely. And V-Rush, who was on the Packers. V-Rush was on the Packers. Juicy was on the Chiefs. I was making that mistake. But yeah, of course, Deuce G did have a couple of good over-the-top plays right there, as you're seeing on the screen. Mahomes to Hill on the post, and he did that a little bit later in the game too. But other than those 2 plays, it was practically all V-Rush and all Packers.
And I'll give credit to V-Rush for just reading on both sides of the ball, just knowing what the defense needs to do to be able to get to the backfield countless times. I mean, even if it wasn't a sack, even if it wasn't one of those 2 scoop and scores, being able to just disrupt the flow of what Patrick Mahomes is trying to do. Another one of those plays to give credit, getting the man-on-man coverage. Tyreek Hill's going to take that to the house every single time, but you can't just rely on those anomalies from your offense to be able to perform to get you those points on the board. You got to be able to perform more consistently with an offense as dangerous as the Chiefs.
Absolutely. And right there's the other scoop and score. And Mahomes had an easy 5 yards at the very least if he just went up the middle. And right there, that's what sealed the game. And that's what had Deuce G out of the game. V-Rush moves on to the grand finals, and now we await I Run the Ball versus OJED F4. Now, I Run the Ball. What is there to not say about this person?
From what I've seen off of the single broadcast that we were able to do a few weeks ago, Run the Ball doesn't run the ball. It's playing as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They just dumped a ton of money into that roster. And I'm honestly surprised we don't see more people playing as the Bucs, because they have phenomenal offensive starters. I mean, all-stars around the block. They have phenomenal defensive starters, all-stars around the block there as well. That is an entire team for all 22 of those positions that players just are not opting into playing. It's like the best overall team in Madden, and they're deciding, nah, we'll play with a quarterback that can run like Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes instead. But it's apparently not working out for him very well, because as you said, Run the Ball is 4 for 4 on winning these Club Clash weeks. So someone's got to do something different.
Yeah, and 4 for 4, that does not mean he makes the finals every week. He wins every week. And now we have Super Bowl 55 rematch. I Run the Ball versus OJED F4. And now looks like I Run the Ball will get the ball first, and that is a scary, scary sight. Now, let's go over this Buccaneers offense. Of course, you have the GOAT, Tom Brady. You have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette. You have so many weapons.
Mm-hmm. Rob Gronkowski, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Not to mention the one that's going to sneak up a couple of times as well. Just out of nowhere, you put so much defensive attention to the names that we just put on. Scotty Miller is just on the field sometimes and will be caught down the streak in the middle with one-on-one against a linebacker, and that's going to be open every single time. So you got to keep an eye on him too.
Of course, you cannot forget about Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller is insanely fast, and he will absolutely burn you if you do not watch him.
And of course,
right now,
yeah, first play. Yeah, as I say, run the ball doesn't run the ball. Runs the ball. But I think that's just the emphasis on getting the defense to bite to open up that passing game.
Absolutely. A little bit of Castor Curse right there. Dumps it off to OJ Howard on the check down for a gain of about 13. And now, that's another thing that I Run the Ball loves to do, is go into no huddle and force the defense to hurry up. I think that is his element, and that's where he likes to play. right now. Oh, that is Scotty Miller. He
Oh,
had him beat, but just did not get enough and was a bit of an overthrow. And that will be 2nd and 10.
curious watching the user control from OG with Tyrann Matthew. We're taking Chandler Jones off the line of scrimmage and going out to the other side of the field to leave Howard open on that end. I think at this point, you just got to watch OG and find a player to user control and stick with that one. Don't drop Chandler into defensive coverage.
Tom Brady gonna throw one deep, but another inaccurate pass. And that is a 2nd touchdown or possible touchdown that was lost due to inaccuracy. That will make this 2nd and 10. Play action, drops pass, and finds O.J. Howard on the check down again. And this is what you call Tom Brady-esque football.
Spread the love, spread the field, just giving attention to virtually anybody that you can. Just try to find a long ball and then keep things short and simple.
Uh-oh. Well, so far, the only receiver that has been able to catch the ball has been O.J. Howard.
Yeah, that's...
He's trying to spread the love, but it's not working. O.J. Howard's the only one who is catching. But let's not pretend that it wasn't Tom Brady that did overthrow. Great read and finds Leonard Fournette between the zones. That will make 1st and goal on the 7.
Yeah, that's the thing. Regardless of if the other receivers or running backs aren't catching the ball, they're still moving the chains to get to this point. And now with Fournette's catch here inside the 10-yard line to set him up, you have all kinds of options here on where you want to go and how you want to play this out.
Here we go. Hands off to Fournette, and he's going to get stopped by his own offensive lineman and then tackled.
It's a common mistake a lot of players make as well, is that they're just so eager to get to the hole, just knowing where that play is supposed to go. They don't let the guard pull, and they don't follow the blocker into it.
Oh, Mike Evans.
What a strike.
That was close. That was close to being swatted or picked, but that will put I Run the Ball on the board. And now with the extra point, 7-0 for I Run the Ball. And now let's see what Ojed can do here.
What a long drive, too. Okay.
No shot.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I respect the guts to make that call on this one, just having the confidence that you're going to be able to, if you don't recover it, be able to defend a short field here against your opponent. But that one going out of bounds, going to start off, again, phenomenal field position for the Chiefs here to see what the first possession can do. But run the ball, took over half the quarter off the clock with that drive. 10 plays, 75 yards is just really showing how important clock management is going to be in this game.
Especially for shorter quarters. These are 4-minute quarters. These aren't 5-6 minutes. That drive didn't seem like it was that long, but that was half a quarter. It was a great time-consuming drive. And now it is going to the other side. Ojed with a great throw and a great catch by Travis Kelce. Moves the chains, gets to the 23-yard line.
It's one of those things I talked about in the last game as well. Those corner routes are just so good at finding a hole in the zone defense. You see on the right side, that cover 3, you got a safety way down low. You've got a couple of zones in the middle, and you have one on the flat. There is a huge open hole in between right there that where those corner routes always end up going, that you can find something open, and that's exactly what OG just did.
Now, looks like an option play. Going to hand it off to Alaire, and he's going to get the edge and will gain about 6 or 7. Looks like 7-yard gain for CEH. Brings the chains, or keeps the chains, but will get some yards. 16-yard line, 2nd down and 3. And Ojed's moving the ball pretty well.
Yeah, and starting the ball at midfield, I mean, this is as good of a drive to start out that you could ask for, to be able to put yourself inside the red zone in scoring position already, you know, getting down here inside the 1-minute mark, being able to answer back this fast after run the ball burns the almost half the quarter and some change.
Mahomes drops back to pass, rolling out left, and he's just going to throw it away. Make this 3rd and short. You are in field goal range, so worst case scenario, you throw an interception, but second or third worst case scenario, you could at least head out with 3.
The difficult part of getting into a shorter field as well. Those zones start to overlap, start to get a lot better coverage. You saw in that last play, there was just nowhere to go.
Absolutely. When there's 50 yards of space, you get a little bit wider zones, but when the field shortens up, you get overlapped zones and really compressed. As I'm talking, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, just being able to find that. I mean, and that's taking advantage of those zone defenses. Again, just finding one going towards the corner, out of the angle. The difference between the last play and that one is that OG didn't roll all the way to the side and drag the defense with them. Instead, stayed relatively close to between the hash marks, was able to keep that defense spread pretty thin, and leave Travis Kelce open in the back.
Great route by Travis Kelce. Great read by OG. And that is tie ball game. But here comes I run the ball. I run the ball is so hard to stop. So if OG is going to want to keep up with him, I got a feeling he's just going to have to go blow for blow with him, because stopping him, I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, I run the ball coming out with a run play, and Fournette is going to spin, and that will move the chains, get the first down, and we will most likely have one more play before we go into the second quarter. Brady dropping back, and he's going to lob one deep. Who is that? Mike Evans goes up for it, but it gets swatted away by Charvarius Ward.
That's a tough catch to make, going towards the sideline. Had to do a little bit of a stutter step, went for the secure catch as well, but being able to get that hand up, Charvarius Ward, great job, able to disrupt that and stop that huge gain.
And now it's 2nd and 10. Brady's still just hanging out in the pocket, but he's going to get hit as he throws, and that will force a 3rd and long. And we might be seeing I run the ball getting stopped here, because at the moment, OG has been clamping him this drive. 3rd and 10.
You got him, yep.
He does spot Mike Evans open between the zones, and that will be a 1st down.
And that's just really smart route running right there, and a great setup on the other side. Basically, you have those two routes shadowing each other from both points. Only one defender. You got to have the safety cover over top. That leaves them open past the sticks.
And after getting that 1st down, you're just going to step back, relax, and run the ball up the middle with Leonard Fournette. Get 7 yards, 2nd and short. And he's going to let this clock drain all the way down to 1 and then run it right up the middle with Fournette for another gain, this time of around 6 yards, and get inside the 30-yard line. As the clock does tick down, he can let this go to the 2-minute warning if he chooses to do so.
Can't see why not. Yep.
That's what he will do.
And I like this play style that Run the Ball is currently employing, because, I mean, as I said at the top of the game, what I've seen from Run the Ball is that they don't run the ball. And here they are doing it just as often as they're throwing the ball, which not only controls the clock, but puts you in control of the entire game, because with shorter quarters, with an accelerated clock, being able to hold on to the ball for the longest, that time of possession, is going to be so important when that final whistle blows.
Absolutely. If you can keep running that ball and really establish your run game, you can completely control the pace of a game, as I Run the Ball is doing right now. He's just handing it off. He's gaining yards every time, and he is in complete control over this clock. As, look, there's about 35 seconds left. I Run the Ball has momentum. He is going to just keep pounding the rock with Leonard Fournette because OG can't stop him. And every run, that's around 10 seconds taken off. I Run the Ball, ideal situation here is touchdown with 5 seconds left on this clock. And OG is forced to just either try to return the kick or throw up a Hail Mary and pray that it gets cat.
Yeah, and finally, using one of these timeouts to be able to try to slow this down, but almost too little too late, 26 ticks on the 8-yard line. This is just not a matter of how, but when is Run the Ball going to score.
And I Run the Ball is going to hand it off to Gronk. we'll get a gain of 2, but it's still 3rd down and 1. 21 seconds left. He still has all 3 of his timeouts if he chooses to use them, but at this point, he doesn't really need to with how much control he has over this game. He's going to pitch it out. Great block by Gronk, and that will move the chains down to the 3-yard line. Clock is ticking. Hands it off to Gronk. He's going to jump over it, but he gets stopped.
I respect the effort.
Gains 1 yard, but now he's on the 2-yard line with 6 seconds left. Is he going to try this again?
It's time for 1 play out of this. And if not, you go settle for 3. That you'd be all right.
You do have your timeouts, but still, after this play, you maybe have 3 seconds on the clock, and that's enough time to get the field goal. And Gronk will be stopped.
Last timeout. Well, nope. Okay. Tampa actually called that timeout.
He's going to go for this. You need 1 yard.
I like this.
I like this as well. I'm expecting a QB sneak right up the middle with Tom Brady.
You still got Gronk back there.
That he does, but Tom Brady is always going to hand it off to Gronk another time, and that time he is able to get in and take the 6-point lead, the 7 after the extra point. And I was wrong. He handed it off to Gronk again.
And that, I think, is such an important score for Run the Ball, to not only be able to put 7 on the board, but also put 7 going into halftime, because of the fact we know OG is going to get the ball. And after this, we call this fair catch. We might get 1 play off the line of scrimmage, but can't expect much to come of it. But second half, ball going to Kansas City once more. The most important thing to take from that last possession is not the touchdown from Run the Ball, but the fact that that drive took 4 minutes and 20 seconds. That's over an entire quarter that drive just took, and that's why still time of possession is going to be so important in these last 2 quarters that we have.
Absolutely. And also one underrated little fact that OG was on defense the entire time. So now he's on offense. So he might not really know exactly what he wants to do, as he's just been so focused on defense. Might be a little bit difficult to get back into that offensive mindset.
Yeah, now just going to have to find this. And again, the Hail Mary at the end just to maybe see what happens. Gets penalized there for throwing forward past the line of scrimmage. But now going into the second half, I mean, you're only down 7. But the problem is you already know that if you give the ball back to Tampa, all they're going to do is, as the name would suggest, run the ball to run the clock. And that's going to be just worst case scenario for you on Kansas City if you don't end up getting points out of this drive. Because we've seen run the ball waste an entire quarter and then some on a single drive. You don't want it to come down to this where it's 17-14 final score because you just couldn't stop the other team.
You definitely do not want that. Obviously you want to win, but you need to be able to make those stops, and OG was not able to make those stops right there, as I Run the Ball was just able to keep control. And ironically, that was by running the ball.
Yeah.
He was able to control that clock. He was able to control the entire pace of the game. And let's not forget, he was able to take an entire quarter of clock.
Mm-hmm.
He was just chewing it. He had it in his mouth, just milking every little bit of time off that clock, and was able to get in for the touchdown with Gronkowski and take the 7-point lead.
That play call right there is one that I really like a lot in what we should have seen in the last game. You know, there was a brief moment where you had a receiver on the post deep with one-on-one in the safety, but instead of just trying to risk that for no reason at all, just take the check down to the running back. Pick up a chunk of yardage. You don't have to go for the long ball every single time, just enough to move the sticks.
As here, 1st and 10 finds CEH. And that will be a gain of around 15. That was a really good read on the wheel route from Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Doing it again. I mean, small chunky yardage at a time. That's all you need to be able to move the ball, keep yourself in this game. You have to score a touchdown on this drive, though.
Oh, absolutely, because I just don't see I Run the Ball being stopped. That is a dangerous throw, but Hill somehow finds it. Going to break a tackle, but then we'll go down at the 25. And let's talk about OG. OG has been hard to stop, and I Run the Ball. If OG is able to get the next stop, then that puts OG in a very good scenario. But I got a feeling that's the same thing for Iron the Ball. I got a feeling that this game is going to come down to either, hey, A, who has the last drive, or B, who can make the first stop. As that's a throw to Kelsey, back of the end zone, the toe drag, and that is tie game awaiting the extra point.
And that's an elite quarterback making an elite throw. Put it where only your man is going to be able to make that catch, if anybody, because Kelsey's the only one that's going to be able to get the toes down to be able to hold on to that one to keep it in bounds. Goes for the touchdown there to equalize it again. And there's still a minute and a half left here in this quarter. So while it is doable for Run the Ball to burn the entirety of the clock once more, it makes it a little bit more difficult to burn a whole 5.5 minutes off versus 4 and some change.
Yeah, that is an extra around 60, 70 seconds. And he got all the way down there in around 4 minutes and 20. So it's going to be really difficult. And he might just leave OG with a little bit too much time.
I really like the play calling from OG on the offensive side. It's very smart, very conservative, just enough to move the ball efficiently. And now with Run the Ball, recognizing that OG can do just that, you know, keeping this one a close and interesting game. Run the Ball's got something to lose here because of the fact the 4-time defending champ here in our first 4 weeks of Club Clash. So maybe a little bit of extra pressure on that side of the ball for Tampa.
And I Run the Ball, going back to it, running the ball. That time gains around 4, and that will be third and short. And if there was ever a time to stop the run, this right here is it. Unless I Run the Ball tries to throw it here and just completely burn OG. And that might be what he does realistically.
There's going to be a time where it comes into, I think on this possession, timeouts are now going to become very important for OG because of the sense that we've seen already. Run the Ball is going to run this clock out. I mean, opting to not even continue to take the yardage with Leonard Fournette, make this as long of a field as you possibly can while still moving the sticks. Burns the third quarter, done. 4 minutes to go. You have 60 yards. That's still a relatively long field, but it is absolutely doable to Run the Ball to burn the rest of this clock off. So OG's got to start to wonder when these timeouts are going to come into play, because it will be soon.
Yeah, and I Run the Ball, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's going to get the first down.
Okay.
He actually did not go down there. He's going to take a little bit more yards than I was expecting. But as I was about to say, I Run the Ball knows exactly what he wants to do. He just switched his ball carrier to conservative. He wants to just get yards and run out the clock. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't want to get big chunks. He wants to get small gains. He wants to slowly move the chains and either get a touchdown or a last-second field goal. He does not want to do anything dumb, doesn't want to make a bad read, because even if you are as skilled a player as I Run the Ball is, bad reads happen.
We're already down to the 2-minute warning now. I mean, Run the Ball. There's no way you don't let this clock run all the way down. A 3rd and 2 setup. Like, this is the best chance here for OG to stop this. And surprised you don't see the timeouts being utilized in those last couple of plays here. But if this is a first down conversion for Run the Ball, OG's going to have to start burning these timeouts and start pressing the issue a little bit more to get this ball back.
2nd and 2. This is the biggest play of the game. They run commit!
Blitz. Wow.
And Scotty Miller will catch it. He's just going to waste as much time as possible, run around like a headless chicken, and then go down. And now the clock is ticking. You're in field goal range. I Run the Ball. Complete control.
Scotty Miller comes up clutch in the most awkward situations. This time it's the clutch. 1 catch for 6 yards. Scotty Miller delivers.
Yeah, the 1 catch for 6 yards and then run back a couple yards.
Yeah.
So, in all, he ran about 10 yards. He got about 6 yards forward, but it was about a 4-yard gain. And now I Run the Ball, still in control. Fournette going to get around the side, and that will be a 3rd and short. But this is exactly what you want to see if you're I Run the Ball.
Yep.
A first down right here, and this game is practically sealed. This is the time to stop it. Matthew, get to the backfield and stops it.
The Honey Badger steps up when he has to, gets a huge stop on 3rd and 1. into the backfield. Clock is stopped now, a 4th down here. And Run the Ball's going to go for it?
This. He's actually going to go for this. If he doesn't make this, this is huge. This is the biggest play of the game. This play decides who wins or loses. And it's Fournette to find it and get to the 10-yard line. And now all he has to do, run one more play, let this clock tick, call a timeout with 3 seconds left, and that's game.
What a conversion.
I Run the Ball has practically won this game. Just going to get this ball centered up. He's in complete control. All 3 timeouts. Call him when there's 3 seconds. Suck up 26 yards. He nails these.
Not worried at all about the kicker play off of a chip shot from this, but this is almost exactly what I said a quarter and a half ago, where I'm like, this is worst case scenario for OG, because if you give the ball back, the last thing you want is to leave that much time for Run the Ball, and you're going to lose 17-14. And here we are with the offense on the field, not the special teams.
Is he trying to go for a touchdown here?
Ooh.
Oh, he's going to call the timeout. He was just faking us. He was doing a little bit of bait.
That might have been a defensive encroachment. Someone on the defense side jumped, but either way, okay, call it a false start or delay game. Chip shot, there it is. There's a 17-14 final. That's almost exactly as I broke down what you didn't want to happen from the OG's perspective. And it played out over the course of 5 minutes and 36 seconds for a game-winning drive for Run the Ball to move on to the 5th consecutive championship. What a performance.
That was just a perfectly played game from I Run the Ball. Everything that I Run the Ball did there was picture perfect. He made all the smart choices. He ran the ball so much. He was in complete control of the entire second half, minus the first minute. He was in control for 7 straight minutes and was able to just keep pounding the rock and keep pounding it with Leonard Fournette. And whenever it mattered, just a little check down to Scotty Miller to get the first down and just keep on going. And there was nothing OG could do about it.
It's just hard to stop that at that point, because now you're rattled in the sense that not only do you have to, I have to not only stop this offense, but I also start to figure out the time management of how am I going to use these timeouts? How am I going to be able to slow this down to get the ball back? And when I do get the ball back, how am I going to run my offense without any timeouts? How am I going to be able to come? So there's just so much stacking up in the brain from the other side, where Run the Ball at that point is just pretty much on cruise control down the field, just getting field goal range. It's all you have to do at minimum. And that's exactly what they accomplished. That's what happened. That's why they got that last 3. Moving on to the championship one more time. So congratulations to I Run the Ball for not only making it there, but just doing so in a controlling fashion. I said clock management and time of possession was going to be very important, and it came to fruition.
Absolutely. And that is another thing that just separates I Run the Ball from everyone, is, of course, you have like the mechanical skill. You know what to do. He's a very smart player.
Yep.
That is what really separates him, because of course he is insane with his mechanics, with his reads. He is one of the best players I have ever seen, but what really separates him is how intelligent he is and how he is able to control the play, very similar to how Tom Brady does it and how he did it for 20 years. And that is why I Run the Ball has been so dominant, and that's why I got a feeling he will continue to be dominant.
Expectations set high. I mean, I'm not looking like there's going to be any other way to go into this championship game other than expecting I Run the Ball to do it. Not once, not twice, not thrice, not whatever 4 times is. We're looking for championship number 5, and we're going to take a quick break before we find out if that 5 time can happen. Don't go anywhere.
Hello everyone, welcome back to week 5 of Club Clash Madden. And we just witnessed a great competitive game, I Run the Ball versus OG. Now, I Run the Ball did take the match, but it was a hard-fought battle in OG. I would not be too disappointed with that. You went toe-to-toe with, so far, the best Madden player this tournament has seen. So that is not something to be ashamed by. And it was really close. The final score was 17-14. What really separated these two players was just the intelligence of I Run the Ball.
Yeah, being able to just understand the importance of holding on to the clock management. I mean, being able to get this go-ahead touchdown going into the second half right there was huge, because OG would get the ball back going into this and had a great drive with this throw, resulting in this final touchdown to tie it up here. But minute 36 left on the clock. That was the last time OG would see the ball. The entire rest of the game, I Run the Ball would hold on to the rock, continue to get these conversions. That was a huge third down right there, but have a fourth down conversion ensuing as well to be able to get short little chip shots, hold on to the possession before walking away with the 17-14 fade away and walk off field goal. But that's just really the intelligence you talk about I Run the Ball has. That had 11 to 12 minutes, probably, give or take, in that window of possession in that game, and that is unheard of. That's 3 full quarters Run the Ball would control this one. I can't imagine that Russ is going to let that happen this time.
I gotta agree with you, Russ. He played one very good game against Deuce G. Won it 40-14. Deuce G just did not look like he was ready for the explosive offense and the explosive defense of Russ. But I Run the Ball, I got a feeling that's going to be a little bit different of a story. I got a feeling this is going to be a really close game.
Close, but I expect a lot more points on the board this time around, because I don't think I Run the Ball is going to be able to employ that game strategy of running the ball that we saw from the last game. I think that it's going to be a lot of passing. I think to be able to keep up with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense, there's going to have to be a lot more emphasis on throwing the ball here from the Tampa Bay side for Run the Ball. But it's just going to be a matter of whose defense is going to be able to step up. And as we saw in the first matchup, Russ and that defensive front was in the backfield the whole game. And if that's going to be a thing that happens here against I Run the Ball, there's going to be problems.
There will be problems. Just the defense of Russ was just so... they were like sharks that were just swarming the water.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes was the first one that fell in.
Didn't stand a chance. The poor guy. Never saw it coming. Couple of scooping scores on that side. We'll see if that aggressiveness will flow through for Russ in this game, or if we're going to stick to the offensive shootout and just let the points on the board do all the talking.
We will just have to see. Now, it is I Run the Ball starting on offense, which is a scary sight, like I said last game, but that's really the only way to describe it. It's scary to go up against because there's just so much that he can do, and so much that he will do, and so much that he is really, really good. He can do so much, and he's good at, seems like, everything.
Yeah, we just got to find that single weakness. And by we, I mean the players, well, not only me, because I'm interested in what the weakness of I Run the Ball is, but the players that continuously show up to face off against I Run the Ball, because running the ball again to open up this game, and this one's going a long ways.
53 yards to start us off. Wow. That is how you make your mark, and that's how you strike first. Going to hand off to Fournette again. This time he's going to the right side. 2-play TD for I Run the Ball. Beautiful.
My only question that I have, Run the Ball's got to be listening, right? Because my opening statement about Run the Ball is that Run the Ball doesn't run the ball. The whole last game, that's all he did. Opening 2 plays, he runs the ball and puts 7 on the board. He's got to be listening and just wanted to prove me wrong. That's all I could come up with.
I gotta agree with you there, because in the past couple of weeks, I Run the Ball has been more like I pass the ball. But today, his name is showing to be true. Now, Russ gets the ball for the first time this game after a 45-second drive from I Run the Ball, resulting in 7 on the board. Let's see if Russ can try to strike back. Now, we cannot forget that Aaron Jones got that one-play touchdown that was long at the start of the first game. Now, Aaron Rodgers getting clamped, and that is St. Brown getting open.
Had a great user control right there from Run the Ball to be able to track both of those receivers to the sideline. Unfortunately, after Rodgers made it all the way to the left, hit up with Winfield, left him open, and that's just a good read by Russ.
And that right there is Davante Adams deep, but a little bit of pressure, a little bit of coverage. He went up for it, though, and Davante Adams, if he goes up for a ball, that means he has a pretty good chance of getting it, but just too good a coverage. And then a little run by Aaron Jones, but he gets off the line. That will make this 3rd down and 10, and you don't want to have to go 3 and out after such a big first play. Rodgers going to drop back, and he's going to get swatted down. That could have been a pick right there. He got kind of lucky.
Yeah, again, just this time a good read on the defensive front. Run the ball, spreading it out a little bit, and watching these shorter routes. Almost got away with the pick right there.
4th and 10. He's just going to lob one. Murphy Bunting swats it away, and that will be 3 and out. And that right there is one of the worst mistakes you can make if you're V-Russ. Because I Run the Ball has control. It may not look like it, but at the moment, I Run the Ball is in complete control. Oh, the stick! He breaks 2 ankles, or 2 people's ankles, for a combined total of 4 ankles.
Lenny's just putting in some work here today. I mean, Fournette's earning this paycheck for Run the Ball for sure.
That right there is beautiful. And then Fournette with another rush. 4 rushes for 103 yards and a touchdown. That is insane stats.
It's a pretty good fantasy day for a first quarter.
Oh, Leonard Fournette fantasy owners they're in a dream right now, and they're just waiting to wake up. And now, 3rd down and 1. Coming out in gun. He really loves that formation. Just going to hand it off to Fournette because Russ can't stop it.
Hasn't stopped it, and still holding on to the zone. I mean, you're, again, just as we talked about the last game, these wide receivers are so dangerous. You have to pay attention. You can't give up any slack for them. But not only the reads on the offensive front, but just immediately on handoff. You know, I gave a little bit of discouragement to I Run the Ball last time for being so eager to just get the ball into the running back's hands and hit the hole. He's also doing a good job at reading it, spinning off where the defense is already going through where Fournette's supposed to go, as he just did in that last play to redirect their great vision on the field.
Absolutely. And like you said, just to be able to spin off of those D tackles is so nasty. You just spin off, and that just opens up so much space on the right side, and it's a guaranteed first down every time. And now, just like that time, Amos does manage to just drag him down by the toes and force a tackle for loss, but I doubt that will stop I Run the Ball.
Crowd in the box.
A little bit of a different formation this time. Still going to hand it off to Fournette, and he can just take this in, and that's exactly what he will do. That is 13-0, awaiting the extra point to make it 14-0, and that is another great drive. And I believe that is 10 rushes. 10 rushes, 0 passes so far for I Run the Ball.
Yeah, that sounds about right for what he's done. I can't recall any passing plays that we've seen, but Fournette has been all over the field here, has put up all of the yardage for Tampa Bay at this point, and being able to, again, just recognize what the defense is doing. I mean, there was a point there where we just ran pretty much a Sam Blitz or Mike Blitz every single play, only had 3-man in coverage, took advantage of it. Now on the other side, we're starting to see the run game get implemented by Russ, but Run the Ball's IQ, as we've given so much credit, football intelligence is just brimming right now.
And like I said, between the games after last game, the thing that really separates I Run the Ball from everybody else is his intelligence. Is, of course, you can have mechanical skill,
Ooh.
but to have the intelligence to make your mechanical skill even better, that is what will win you championships. And that has what has won I Run the Balls 4 club clashes in a row. Now, great throw by right there, great read by Russ, and now he is in the red zone. Handoff to Jones, and that will be a gain of 3. 14 yards to go for the touchdown to hopefully get himself on the board here with about 90 seconds on this clock.
This is one that Russ has to put 7 on the board and leave as little time left for Run the Ball. Because Russ gets the ball at halftime, make sure you score a touchdown. I guess if you want to leave a minute 9 on the clock for Run the Ball, go for it. We'll see what the passing game is going to be able to do on the other side, but huge for Russ to be able to put points up here.
That it is, but you definitely wanted to waste a little bit more time because you got 69 seconds on the clock. That is more than enough for I Run the Ball to march down there, especially with how he's just able to find those little seams and those little windows between zones. Now, awaiting the kickoff. Gronkowski there to field it. Let's see what he can do with it. He will get past the 25, so more than a touchback. But he also didn't have as long a ways to go.
Notoriously not the fastest player in the NFL. We've all seen the Miami Miracle. He gets at least a little bit to come out of that return. But a minute 6 here for Run the Ball. And this is...
Oh, my...
Well...
He's going to wait. He's slowed down. He wants to remain in control. He's got 59 seconds. And that right there, that was just what we were saying. He is able to find those seams and just be able to find open windows and can force the ball inside of it and just make amazing plays right there. And now 17 yards to go, 55 seconds on this clock, 3 times out.
Ooh.
He is in control. And that spin move is insane. You've got to stop that.
He just keeps doing it. And Russ can't stop it. And I mean, that pass to Scotty Miller checks 2 boxes of what we talked about. And I'll let the drive finish before I finish making the point of it. But Run the Ball right now is, as you phrased, in complete control of this game.
And now he's just trying the fullback dive to Rob Gronkowski on the 9-yard line. And it's working. 5-yard gain. And I got a feeling he's going to do it again. He's going to let some clock run off. He wants to leave as little time as possible. He's just so in control. Right now, I think he's just having fun with it because he knows there's nothing that Russ can do about it. Hands it off to Gronk again. He's going to jump for it 4 yards out and still get a gain of 3. And now, 7 seconds left. He's going to try for one more play. He's going to leave himself with a lot of time that if he is not able to get in the end zone, he will be able to call a timeout and try it again. What are we thinking? We thinking it's going to be a pitch, a dive with a fullback, or QB sneak?
I mean, you got to stretch it out, right?
Yeah. It's the pitch, and it's to Fournette on the right side. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
I mean, if you're paying attention at all to the last game, if Russ was watching, we watched Gronk run the fullback sneak like 4 plays in a row. You just expect, okay, Gronk is still at fullback. He's still going to do it again. You call the all-out blitz right there. The only people in coverage is man-to-man on the sides. And at that point, it's just a matter of Fournette getting to the edge. Very simple there. But as I was alluding to at the beginning of that, is that drive checked 2 boxes of the points that we've made, in the sense that Scotty Miller is a dangerous player when you least expect it. And he just finds that open seam. But the difference between that drive and the rest of the drives is that Run the Ball, as you mentioned at the second touchdown that they scored, had ran the ball every play. That drive is a passing drive. Like, you have to be able to throw the ball to get down the field to be able to score points. And that's the first time that Russ is going to have to adequately play call from the defensive perspective. And it took 1 play of a mistaken play call where you bring a linebacker on the blitz that leaves Scotty Miller wide open. That's just run the ball being so smart about the play calling and knowing what's going on.
And he's coming out at onside to start off the second half. He will not get it. That will be illegal touching. But still, just the guts to go for that. And I doubt Russ was even thinking of it. He was probably thinking of, how am I going to stop him? And you might have to think of something, as that's going to be an onside kick. He does recover it, but still, just another thing to think of, as that's a long-range dot from Aaron Rodgers. Get himself on the 5-yard line. First play of the second half. That's a good way to start it out, and then it's off the helmet of his offensive line.
When you're down this close already, and this is, I mean, how you'd want to start out the half from Russ's point of view, but after giving up a last touchdown to run the ball, I mean, again, now you're in a must-score every time situation, and you at least cash in once. Aaron Jones does it again.
Touchdown for Russ. That should make this a 7-point game after the extra point. But still, I run the ball. We've seen how he can just chew clock. He's got to do it for 7 minutes and 21 seconds, though. Do you think we can do this?
No. I'm going to optimistically say no, because it's really close. Like, I think 6 to 6.5 minutes is probably where I draw the line as to about the amount of time that you could burn off the clock. But depends on how long your field is. I think with Gronk returning the ball, you're going to have about a regular length of a field from the kickoff. So, yeah, 73 yards. There's no way you burn it down to zeros in a final whistle, but I think you at least leave it to the next time. You get a quick drive out of this one, give the ball back to Russ once, and then score again.
That's around a minute every 10 yards, and that is not easy to do. That is at least 2 plays every down. Yeah, it's difficult, and I just don't see it happening, especially when Leonard Fournette can make plays like that, and just that spin move is so dangerous.
The problem that Russ is facing right now is, I think, just the inadequacy of defense, just not really knowing what to do, because it's been like the same 3 plays that's been called defensive front, and none of the 3 have worked. I mean, 173 yards rushing for Fournette right now. They're up 21-14. Like, these play calls are just not working for Russ, and you got to find something different. Otherwise, he's going to keep doing this.
I have no words.
I think the right word is touchdown.
I have one. You know what? I have one word. Touchdown. That was just incredible. I don't understand how he does this consistently. It's not like this is once a game, maybe once a quarter. He does this consistently.
It's just insane what run the ball is capable of doing, and it doesn't matter who he's playing. I mean, it's a week in, week out versus every single opponent, just rips them to shreds, and is capable of doing it in so many different ways.
Oh, Devontae Adams open on the right side of the field, and he's going to haul it in. That will move the chains and get him down to the 34-yard line. And that right there, that has been one of the very few things that I Run the Ball is having trouble with, is those like deep corner routes.
Yeah. And again, that's just taking advantage of zone defense. And when you have an all-star like Devontae Adams, with Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, I mean, you would expect Adams to be able to come down with those passes. And Russ taking really good advantage of this, moving the ball very quickly.
Now he's going to dump it off to Devontae Adams on the in route, and it's a fumble, and it's picked up by our Run the Ball.
Wow. I was about to give so much credit to Russ right there for finding the perfect window of opportunity to throw that ball. Threw it immediately after the break from the first coverage of the linebacker, and right before the second zone coverage would hit on that flat on the left side of the field. Got down the field so fast. Instead, ends up with such a crucial turnover. And now we're going to go right back to watching Leonard Fournette take a spin move out of the backfield.
And look at that stat line.
That's pretty good.
18 rushes, 220-something yards, and 4 touchdowns. And there's still a quarter to play.
Yeah, that's a pretty good day.
And, oh, Leonard Fournette's going to reach for the first down. Look at that. That is just outrageous. Leonard Fournette has just completely put his team on his back.
That's at least 47, 48 fantasy points from the running game alone. I mean, if he's got a couple of receptions under his belt too, but good Lord, that's just a performance by Leonard Fournette, and run the ball, just showing why teams should probably pay a little more attention to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in these Madden competitions. They're just really good for obvious reasons. They spent a lot of money to put this roster together. Madden players should take heed of that and say, you know, it might be a cheap shot to use a team that was paid to win, but they're winning. So just use them.
Yeah, and Leonard Fournette just keeps on going. And Leonard Fournette is pretty close to the rushing yard record, the single game rushing yard record. 296 yards from Adrian Peterson back in 2007. 40 yards to go with 3 minutes. And there's about 60 yards on this field. Do you think he can do this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he keeps doing this. He's done a really good job of defending and getting out of that first tackle right there. And now it's starting to be a user control out of this one. But it's just a matter of how fast is that handoff going to be to be able to get Fournette out of the backfield or allow him to use any spin, juke, whatever move he can to get out of that. I think it's well within reach here.
This is 3rd and 14, and he's just going to hand it off to Fournette. A little gain of about 4.
Got to call a timeout.
And he's just going to punt it off.
That's interesting on two front. Okay, he's holding the punt here. I was like, I'm confused now because Russ didn't call the timeout. I was also more confused because run the ball immediately started that meter, but he's going to hold it out of this to be able to let that play clock run, let the clock run down a long ways. Russ should have taken a timeout at 1:50. Instead, very short clock, very long field, down 2 possessions.
Just the intelligence of I run the ball, I'm telling you. And Russ not calling a timeout, very interesting. And I got a feeling he's probably going to be kicking himself over that one. And now Rodgers going to step back, and Adams open again for another huge gain. And I run the ball just can't stop those. 45 seconds on this clock. Russ is going to have to get in the end zone pretty quick, and he's going to have to get the onside recovery. Rodgers dropping back, going to lob one deep, and it is batted down.
Like the user control MVS right there to be able to break over in front of the defender. Otherwise, that ball's probably going to get intercepted if you let the AI just take control of that. So smart, at least on that front. But yeah, run the ball's not going to let this happen too easy.
And there it is again, Davante Adams, deep down the right side. That deep corner route just burns him every time. Now, 2nd and 10, or 1st and 10 on the 11-yard line. Nothing's open, and Rodgers just going to force something. That's going to be picked off.
Poetic, honestly. I mean, how many NFC Championship games, or just in general, have we watched where Rodgers and the Packers seem like they have it all? And yeah, I'll throw a little flame here, and then they just drop the ball. Literally, figuratively, metaphorically, whatever. They just drop the ball, end up losing to whoever they're end up playing against. We've seen this one, Green Bay and Tampa Bay, a couple times. But, I mean, this is a heartbreak for Russ because you just were poised in such a position to be able to come out, to really step up, get those points back. Unfortunately, you left, what was it, 65, 70 seconds on the clock there right before halftime. Run the ball, gets the ball all the way down the field, puts another 7 on. and you never really got the chance there to be able to make that comeback. Nothing open on that last drive either. I think I'd chalk it up to the fact of ran the ball, and just, again, better clock management. I think Russ probably should have done a little bit better on the timeouts being used there in that second half. But either way, the expectation was run the ball to take the championship, and that's exactly what happened for the 5th time.
I run the ball. 5-time Club Clash champion and secures a spot in the finals. Just
hats off. I mean, we give so much praise to run the ball for the performance today, the whole time. I mean, it's ridiculous what run the ball's accomplished here through these 5 weeks alone. I mean, getting that first place pricing every time, that's a nice little boost to your ego there. But today, obviously, with a $1,000 prize pool, you're doubling what you've been winning, and you get locked, like you said, in that championship. That's a $3,500 prize pool at the end of the road here. So run the ball at this point now, just cruising, coasting, taking the rest of the pocket change that you can find along the way. And it's just smooth sailing now.
That it is. You have secured your spot in the finals with first place in the qualifiers. This is the first qualifier. The next qualifier will be week 9. So same deal then as now. But for now, that's all the Madden we have for today. And it was some amazing games.
I can't complain about what we saw at all. I mean, that first game, especially between the shootout, that was just so back and forth. The defense really stood up there between Deuce and Russ, and it was an incredible match right there to see if anyone would be able to step up and contest against run the ball, because we've been talking about how run the ball just inherently was the favorite, you know, even coming into the bracket, even before seeing any of these teams play. That's the guy to beat. And now we're just looking for that team to step up here and who's going to be the one. We've seen teams come close. We had that game come down to the wire with that last second walk-off field goal. So run the ball is beatable, but it's just a matter of who's going to step up and who's going to be the team that finally does it, and who else is going to walk away with the gold.
At the moment, I cannot see any team beating I Run the Ball, but who knows? That may change over the coming weeks. We may see I Run the Ball drop a championship match. Who knows? Maybe in the coming weeks he'll win again. He'll win, but he's not unbeatable. He is still human, as per my knowledge. He could be an AI on the controller, but from what I've heard and for what I've seen, he is human and he is beatable, but it is gonna be hard.
Those spin moves are too good.
Those spin moves are just too good.
The AI is not that good at spinning. It has to be the human. I mean, his big brain is just way too massive to be able to get out of the defense like that. I mean, yeah, run the ball. I think right now the way run the ball doesn't win is if run the ball doesn't show up. For now.
I got a feeling you would be pretty much right on that. But nonetheless, right now, this is I Run the Ball's territory. 5 for 5, completely undefeated in Club Clash tournaments. And that will do it for today. Thank you all for watching. I've been Starcoin Hero. That has been wrong way. That has been trademark. Thank you for coming and watching. Have a great rest of your day, and make sure to tune in next time. And also, we cannot forget about the other tournaments going on. Tomorrow, we will have Rocket League, and later tonight, we have Fortnite 1v1s. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for Fortnite 1v1s, Rocket League tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow for Rocket League.
Ooh.
So if you want to see more of me, join. And of course, who doesn't want to watch some just glorious Rocket League 2v2 action? I can't think of anyone. But that will do it. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light. I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red. night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the red light, I could run through the fire, I could conquer the night. If I can make it, if I try to draw the